Good morning, and today is Friday, January 18th, and we are still in, I forgot the name of the cove, but I'll place it in the video. This is where we saw the penguins yesterday, and all the pretty scenery. Well, scenery's still here, penguins still here. They are announcing out where that we're at. Let me show you the scenery there.
Which is only blowing at around about 7 knots. Just be also careful of loose items to ensure we don't lose those over the side of the ship. So Charlotte Bay giving us a very, very atmospheric and dramatic welcome as we proceed towards the base of these 5 glaciers that are ahead of us, and if you're seeing a visual go above us there. So the red bird light, we don't see the whales, in fact we haven't seen any whales yet, but you never know if you can. And but in the meantime, look at these mountain ranges and the glaciers coming off them.
And the expedition leader, Graham, just announced the name of the bay that we're in, the Charlotte Bay. So 5 glaciers feed into this bay. So pretty big bay and a lot of scenery. In most places you only see 1 glacier, but here the ship just turned around and we saw 5. So excellent viewing here at Charlotte Bay. One of the things to look at on today's What's Happening is a poker tournament. I'm usually not a gambler and really don't go to the casino at all, but I play poker at home and I wanted to try a poker tournament on a cruise ship. So I tried it. One of the sea days I went down and it was $60 to enter the tournament, and we had about 8 players. And we played at an electronic poker table. So you sat down, there wasn't a person dealing cards, it was all electronic. So they paid out the first 2 places. And as with luck would have it, I took 3rd place, so I won nothing. But it was a fun time to be had on a lazy sea day, and something I'll remember forever, taking 3rd place in a poker tournament. And that's enough of this. Let's go up and check out the scenery as we're still in Charlotte Bay. Here we're just barely starting to poke along. And like I say, this is where 5 glaciers empties into the water. But to be truthful, I couldn't tell you where one of the great glaciers started and where the next one started. It was just a solid wall of ice all the way around. But it was an amazing scenery all the way around. The ship went to the end and did a few donuts in the water, and we got to see all 5 glaciers over the span of about an hour. And remember, whenever you're in Alaska, you're going to see 1 glacier a day. So here, 5 in an hour, pretty good hour. I decided to zoom in a little bit so you could see the size of these glaciers. And if you see that little crack that's at the bottom where it drops off into the water, that's taller than this ship. That's 14 stories tall. So that'll give you the size of scale of it. I'll zoom in a little bit for you so you can see what it looks like at the bottom. Going up a little bit with all the blue ice. All the way up into the clouds. And zooming back out. Huge glaciers. I turned down the camera mic a little bit just so you can hear the people in the background. And I think every country in the world has the same reaction whenever that they see a whale breaching on top of the water. See if yours would be about the same as theirs.
Ooh.
I think that reaction is universal with every country. Same as sitting out looking at the scenery. Here, another giant petrel. But just sitting back looking at the sheer scenery in this area was awesome. I think that's a universal reaction from every country also. Back to more whale spotting. As we're leaving Charlotte Bay, we spotted a whole pod of whales. It must have been 10 or 15 of them, all swimming around. They're not really diving deep. They're not making a lot of jumping out of the water movements. They're just slowly going around feeding. But we all watched them. And this is another good example of why you should get a good pair of binoculars. You could see way out all the whales. And we were sitting in the top decks or the crow's nest, the Explorers Cafe, pointing out the whales and others in the group. And we let them borrow our binoculars to get an up-close view. We stepped into the crow's nest of the Explorers Club to warm up a little bit and happened to spot these two whales. They were off in the distance a good bit, but they're just laying around feeding, not moving a whole lot. And it's odd watching them just laying there. Whenever that you're up in Alaska, you see them diving down deep, but not just sitting on the top of the water. And they did this the whole time we went by. So, we took a couple videos of it, and of course shared our binoculars with all the others that were around us that were having a hard time seeing it. And here they're blowing out and making a little bit of a dive, but not much. They only go into water a couple feet. And when the ship goes through areas with high concentrations of whales, they slow down to a crawl just to make sure that they don't injure a whale by bumping into them. And it was successful. We didn't see any whales that were real close. They would usually swim out just a little ways off and continue with their activities.
One of our field camps, we had a skewer that hung around, and I love this shot because it captures the skewer in the mountains. But the dead birds also, as this photo shows, were sites where life was clinging to. So here we've got a little cluster of moss growing all over bird bones. So the animals are providing, organic matter that the little things we're looking for are clinging to. There's another photograph of some mosses. And some of these surveys we put out in Christmas, love from the geologists. So for a while, we'd worked in a cold place in Mount Menzies, and we weren't seeing many mites. We were doing the sampling and we weren't seeing them, and I mean, we were there for months, but the first few weeks was, where are these things? And you're doing the rigorous sampling, I'll do it, but we haven't seen any mites. And so on Christmas Day, I think we found for the first time mites, the geologists, so we didn't know what we were looking at. And to us, they looked small and fat, or like spiders. So spider mites and mini fatties was what we wrote on the back. And we gave that to Paul, the biologist, and he was pretty happy. So
do some laps.
I'm ready to do some laps. Get the exercise on.
Let's go. And as we're getting our laps in, remember on this ship, 3 laps is a mile. Sometimes we would walk 3 laps, sometimes 6 laps, just depending on how much that we wanted to walk. But no matter how much you walk, remember, keep looking off the edge of the ship. There's no telling what you'll see. In this occasion, we saw whales, almost right next to the ship, the closest that we had seen some of the whales. So we got a little video of it from close up. A couple more whales right here. Hey whales. Right by the boat. This trip was a 3-lap trip, so just 1 mile, but we may do it several times during the day. And in addition, we also saw about 5 whales right next to the ship, so accomplishment on both areas. We got our exercise and saw wildlife. And that brings us to the employee of the day, my day. He's our waiter for the whole trip, and it's spelled like maid, but it's my day, is the way he pronounces it. And if you're going on a cruise, well, I'll give you some advice on the dining. There's several different dining options. You can get early seating, which starts between 5 and 5:30, or you can get late seating, which starts between 7:30 and 8:30, or you can get anytime dining, where you can go to the dining room whenever that you want. You can just go on your phone, on the app, and reserve a table. And when you're there, I'm showing the menu here, but you can get whatever that you want as far as what's on the menu. If you want 2 appetizers, get them. If you want 2 mains, get them. And if you want 2 desserts, yeah, you can get that too. The dining room staff, which in our case was Made, which I just showed, and Risky was our second dining room assistant. Their whole purpose is to make you happy. And with us, that was an easy accomplishment. They made us happy every night. Some nights we didn't go visit them in the main dining room. We went to the buffet. But in any cases, they were there waiting for us in case we did go down to the main dining room. And for my starter tonight, I got the 2-bean soup. So I changed it up a little bit. But Cheryl, yeah, she stuck with the Caesar salad. For entree, I had the grilled salmon. And Cheryl, she had the turkey. Because if there's turkey on the menu, she's getting that every time. It's her favorite. And for dessert, I had the chocolate sundae. And Cheryl, she had the chocolate cheesecake. So both of us had chocolate for dessert. And each night after dinner, we would go change into warm clothes and check out the towel animal. But of course, I don't think this guy got the memo about the warm clothes. Yeah, he was wearing tennis shoes and shorts. And yes, that's snow that he's walking in. It's starting to snow on us. It's snowing! We're at Deception Island. Was looking for the killer whales. And it's snowing. They had a whole bunch of killer whales came by, but we didn't get pictures of them. But we're still waiting. There's probably more closer to the island. We're waiting to see. But snow. And the snow is getting worse. So we're hiding behind a wall to block the snow from the camera. And listening. As you can see, the folks lined up with the snow falling. And every once in a while we're seeing penguins swimming around. Earlier, orcas down both sides of the ship. But this is what we came to see here, Deception Island, which is the center of a volcano. And this is a volcano. Much like Santorini in Greece, the top of the volcano blew out and left the caldera full of water. But on Santorini, you'll see the edge of the volcano rimmed with houses. Those are the white color houses that you always see in pictures. But here, it's penguins and snow all around the caldera. So it's white all around, but it's snow. And right on both sides of the caldera entrance are penguin colonies. Our ship is too big to fit through the gap, but some of the smaller ships can fit right into the caldera. And as everybody lined up along the railing of the ship, we were anxiously awaiting seeing the caldera of the volcano and seeing the penguins. But again, we could smell the penguins long before we could see them. This is just one huge mound of penguins. All around the caldera were penguin colonies. And as we're looking at the penguins through binoculars, we're wondering, how in the world did they get that high up on the mountain? It seems like with those small feet that they wouldn't be able to accomplish it. But they have little trails cut into the rock from the constant use of going up and down the mountain. And they go up there with ease. Here you can see a little bit of moss growing on the side. One of the few times that we saw anything green growing. It was a rare sight to see something living other than penguins on the mountain. And as we're leaving Deception Island, the captain spots a small piece of ice with a group of penguins on top and pulls up for a closer look. What he actually does is pull the nose within a couple 100 feet of all these penguins that are playing, jumping around, having the time of their life. And I have this next clip, not for the video because it's a poor video, but for the background conversations. They're watching a group of penguins decide if they want to jump off the ice and into the water, and trying to make up their minds.
Oh, there's a bunch of them here.
Rock the boat.
No, he didn't make it. Oh no.
Yay! Okay, now come on, guys.
2, 3, 4.
Oh, now they're all going. Nope, change his mind. Nope, can't change his mind.
Well, I don't have a video going.
As we're sitting and watching the penguins play on the ice, you have to think, today the life of a penguin is pretty good. Watching them run around, jump in the water. But later on, this place is going to be freezing cold, and then the life of a penguin might not be so good. And the captain pulled up next to this block of ice for a good hour. That way everyone had plenty of chances to go take their videos and pictures. And the penguins, they didn't mind us being there a bit, it didn't seem like. They were still having fun. And you could see some of them still jumping up on the ice as we're sitting there. You have to wonder if they're thinking, what is this big thing parked next to us? But it didn't bother them a bit. They seemed to enjoy their little ice. And as we leave Deception Island, I want to thank you for watching Day 13 of our Antarctic adventure. And join us for Day 14, where we'll go out looking for more wildlife. And yes, I'll have to do the Arctic plunge, jumping to a freezing pool of water. And in case you haven't subscribed, go ahead and hit the subscribe button to be informed every time that we come out with a video. Yes, it's a whole bunch of videos I have planned. This trip alone is 22 days, and there's more in the plans behind it.